Welcome back to another episode of Just Another Number. And as you can see today, I have a special guest with me today. Now, I'm going to let him introduce himself, but I've known this brother for years. Basically grew up with this brother, and you know, I'm happy to have him on the show, and I'm going to let him take the floor.
Yeah, I go by Fate. Like you said, been knowing this man a long time, and I'm just a brother that stay out the way, man. That's all.
Very, very humble, man. Very humble. All right, man. So I know me and you were doing a lot of talking off mic, and we were talking about the geopolitics stuff, man. So in regards to what you see going on out here in the world, like you got your Russia, China, and all stuff. So how close do you think we are to like a World War III scenario?
Well, honestly, man, if you pay attention to what's been going on, and I saw a clip where we've already had some troops sent somewhere. So technically, we pretty much at war already, you
Yeah.
know. But is full-fledged war, I give it about probably another year or two, man, before it really go down.
So you think a lot of that had to do with what Russia hitting and taking down that drone this past week?
No, I think, man, if you pay attention to what's been going on even before this year, there's been
Mm.
a lot of tension between Russia and United States,
Yeah.
North Korea, Iran, stuff like, those countries like that. It's been tension for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I think everything that happened, man, I think it's all planned. You know what I mean? I don't think stuff is just happening just because. You know what I mean?
Okay. So were you like kind of a little bit of a theorist of conspiracies?
No, no, man. I mean, I
I mean, it's
think
okay if you are. I mean, shit.
no. Well, see, this is the reason why I say this
Okay.
because our military, for example, we
Mm.
supposed to be one of the top dogs. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And us being one of the top dogs, that surveillance balloon should have never reached the United States.
Huh. Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Uh huh.
Either, again, this is just me talking, either they knew about it or
Mm.
somebody sleeping on the job. You
Okay.
know, you can't even fly a toy drone in the sky over certain places without that mug getting shot down. You mean to tell me a whole balloon made it across our seas and into, our airspace for
Mm-hmm.
days before the
Mm.
media even knew about it? Some people, in their backyards was looking up in the sky like, hey man, what is that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, that balloon was here for a few days, man, before it was even shot down. So
Hmm.
again, either they knew about it or, or I even go as far as saying this. Maybe our systems ain't as tough as they say it is. You
Hmm.
get what I'm saying? Or
Okay.
like I said, somebody is falling asleep on a job. Either way, in my opinion, I feel like it's unacceptable. You know what I mean? Because by the time anything was, noticed, damage could have been already done.
Yeah. So I mean, the way if you listen to the media, the way they explain it is, all not all, but these balloons have always been around. They try to say, well, the U.S. sends balloons over there to China. Now, the one theory I've heard, and I heard just from an actual military man, he he was explaining. He was just saying like, yeah, the U.S. they have a way of detecting what's in our airspace, but a lot of times they don't demonstrate or they don't go on the offensive to try to maybe take these things down because they don't want the enemy to know, basically the like response times. They don't want them to know like strategic military strategy and like, oh, so if we do this, this is how they're going to react. So he was saying a lot of times it just appears that, it appears that they just letting stuff go, and it appears that, oh, well, we're not on top of it. But in all reality, it's like they see what's going on. It's just like, so a little bit of what you're saying, I can see a little bit of truth. Well, not to try to say you're not telling the truth, but I'm saying I can see from that perspective, hey, we just gonna let this play out. Yeah, we see what's going on. We're gonna act stupid. It's basically the equivalent of just acting dumb. I see people do that all the time.
Well, I mean, oh yeah, but again, if that was the case, had that balloon been something dangerous,
yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
damage would have already happened while you playing. You want to play stupid.
Yeah,
in my opinion. Again, I've never been in the military or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I think when it comes to the safety of people, your country, that thing, your response time should have been immaculate. You know what I'm saying? To show people you don't have a chance. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The second it entered whatever airspace over the seas, it's like I said, it shouldn't have made it here. The what you trying to, or what you should be showing people, again, you don't have a chance. We're not going to play these games. You know what I'm saying? And I know it's a very delicate thing because, like we had a conversation about the underlying tone danger between men. It's a very
that was an off mic conversation for those who that was off mic, but
so same thing with these countries, but like I said, there's been tension between us and these other countries for so long. Again, you should show them, in my opinion, we not having it. Any little small thing, you should be on it. You know what I'm saying? So it's no different from if you at your job and your boss try to say something slick, or somebody say slick. If you don't nip it in the bud,
right?
What happens?
I see what you're saying.
It start getting worse and worse. They get more and more comfortable with trying you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With the disrespect. So to prevent that from happening, you got to nip that in the bud.
So you looking at it from a more straightforward and direct response in terms of, hey, you're gonna learn. Don't try to don't try that mess over here. Versus, whatever military minds in the Pentagon probably are looking at it like, okay, like you say, we really, because I'm gonna be honest, it's all this is really just high tech spy games. That's all we're doing. All these countries spy on each other. I mean, the U.S. spies on. I mean, shit, they spy on their own citizens, but that's another topic for another day. So it's like, it's spy games. It's like we know Russia spies. We know spies from China, and I mean, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if the United States had spies in Europe. And most of Europe's supposed to be our allies and stuff. So I mean, but so okay. So what do you think about the whole fee? And I don't know if you touched on it or not. And if you did, then you won't have to answer the question. But what do you think about the Russian, taking down the U.S. drone? What do you think about that?
I don't know too much about it, but again, but I would say this again, just like I said about the Chinese balloon, any government or any person, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, that ain't got no business being over here. You get what I'm saying?
Well, I mean, it was in international waters. So, everybody was saying because it was in international waters, it's like it legally could fly over there, but it was still in the Black Sea region, which
right,
it's still, like, I wouldn't say Russian territory, but it's near Russia.
Well, in that case, again, now now I take that as um provoke. Now you provoking me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now with the going back to the Chinese balloon, it was over here.
Right.
Now, in that case, if it wasn't nowhere near their territory, airspace or over in the country, now
Yeah.
I feel like okay, it's a taunt. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So again, I feel like a reaction should have taken place because you have to show people, I'm not for the games.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And again, I don't, mean that in all absoluteness because I
Mm-hmm.
understand that you don't want war or
Right.
every time something happened, you know what I'm saying, to,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna start shooting missiles and stuff over there. But my thing is the difference between that situation and that the Chinese balloon, like I said, the fact that it was already over here,
Yeah.
if it had been dangerous, you know, it could have been catastrophic.
Yeah. I mean, there's so many different theories in regards to that because the crazy people talking on the internet like, oh, this is just the government playing with your mind because they're trying to condition your mind into accepting the alien religion that's coming. I hear so much crazy stuff on the internet, man. It's just like I don't know. Like we
So,
don't know.
so this is the way I look at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Say for instance, um, somebody you caught somebody climbing in your window in your house,
Uh huh.
right?
It's happened
He
before.
ain't stole nothing yet.
Uh huh.
He might have not got all the way in there.
Uh huh.
What is your response to that gonna be? Is you gonna be like, well, I'm gonna let you go
No.
because you get what I'm saying?
My response is what
He-
happened to me. It happened in real life when I was 18 years old, and somebody tried to was I 18 or was I 19? I think it was when I was 19. It was 18 or 19. It was one of them damn years. But it was the same thing where you know I just get off work and somebody called themselves trying to break in, and luckily I knew where the sawed off was, so you know got one foot in and looked up and saw a double barrel surprise, and damn near broke his neck trying to get out the window. So that happened in real life. So that's why I'm saying, yeah, I know about it because even now, as as an older person, older adult, I know we joke and talk off mic all the time about you know what would happen if X happened and somebody tried to do
yeah,
Y, and it's like, no, again, we ain't gonna say because we want to try to incriminate ourselves and nothing like that. But
right, right.
um, so staying on the subject of that, what are your thoughts on the war in Ukraine? Now, do you buy into what people are saying is the Russian propaganda? They're putting it out there saying this is a territorial war, but the Ukrainians are literally over there fighting for their lives. Like that's what I see. So,
Well, uh, here's the thing with that, man. I don't know if people know this. So Ukraine was once a part of Russia,
mm-hmm.
and they ended up earning a independence at some point where
Uh
they
huh.
became separate thing.
Yeah.
So now Russia, Putin is like, hey, Ukraine is a part of Russia. You gonna be a part of Russia or whatever, such and such, such and such. Now, here's my thing with whatever Ukraine. If I remember correctly, Ukraine was asked to be a part of NATO, but they declined. Right now, whatever's going on in that country or between those two countries should be between those two countries. It shouldn't be been any of nobody else's business. Now
Okay.
here go the U.S.
Uh huh.
pretty much sticking their nose in somebody else's business.
Okay.
Now we might not necessarily be fighting a war, but the issue comes in that is I think Russia was winning at first, but then when they started getting supplied weapons and stuff
Hmm.
like that, Ukraine started, you know what I'm saying? They
Yeah,
started kicking some ass, and it's like, hold on, y'all, y'all ain't got no business. This ain't got nothing to do with y'all, and y'all, you get what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, we ran to the aid of somebody who didn't want to be a part of the clique. But then when you start getting into some trouble, you went, hey, I need help. I need help.
I actually, I'm not sure, and I'll go back and look this up. But I think it was the opposite. I think it was that Ukraine wanted to join NATO, but NATO didn't accept them because it would have been seen as like an affront to basically provoke a war with Russia, which is what everybody wants to avoid. Now, I'll be the first to say, if you going by, you know, I actually read up on the history of Russia's wars, and they've never really had a super strong military. Like, they've lost a lot of wars. They've won. Don't get me wrong, they've won, but they lost a lot of wars. They got their ass kicked a lot. And the only reason, obviously, the U.S. and just think about it, had the Russians never stumbled upon, um, the A bomb, and they never stumbled upon that technology. Come on now, America would have went in there and wiped the floor with their ass by now. They helped us. They were allies with us in World War II, and we needed that. We needed it. Hitler was doing his thing. Not a big fan of Hitler over here. So, but what I'm getting at is the nuclear weapon has always been a deterrent, right? It's MAD. You know what it is. You know what it is. The acronym Mutually Assured Destruction, MAD, and that's one reason why there hasn't been any nuclear bombs dropped, because people know if you launch one, everybody's gonna launch them, and then that's it for everybody. So what I've noticed, and again, we speaking in the realms of America being the empire. America is an empire. And what I noticed in this country is Americans don't see, and I'm talking about Americans, everyday average citizens, they don't see America as an empire. But everyone around the globe does, because we have military bases like everywhere. See, America is smart. We don't have to go annex your land. We just have military bases. We can strike from virtually anywhere in the world. That is the true essence of an empire. I mean, if you go back and look at the English, their what was their little title, like what they little saying they had was the sun never sets. The sun never sets on the English empire because they had taken over so much, land. They had annexed so many countries to where it's like our empire is so large and so vast, the sun never sets on us. And so America does that, but in a different way. We just have military bases everywhere. So I say all that to say this. America is looking at the Ukrainian situation because it's a test case for China. China wants to take over Taiwan. This is a known fact. They claim Taiwan is a part of China. Taiwan is a democratic country. They have elections. They are a democracy. They, in their minds, they have no ties to mainland China. But China, being the bigger nation, says, no, you're a part of us. And so the only reason that China hasn't moved on Taiwan is because the United States is where? We're in Japan. We're in South Korea. We're in Vietnam. We're in the area. You know what I mean? So it's like, and unofficially, we rock with Taiwan. But anytime a president is elected, they don't accept the call from Taiwan because there's a such thing called as a one China policy. And that one China policy stipulates that Taiwan is a part of us. Now, every president goes along with this because, we're China's number one importer. We buy everything from them. They make all of our shit. So This is a test run. China's watching to see. China and Russia, besties. Russia wants Ukraine back. They're watching. How does the U.S. respond? What does the U.S. do? Now they're seeing. Okay. Oh, NATO's involved. Okay. So they're sending over. We're not sending troops. We're sending tanks. We're giving you ammunition. We're going to let you fight your own war. So in a sense, they are staying out of it without having boots on the ground, but they are providing them with weaponry and other things because China's watching to see, hey, how can we take over Taiwan? Because neither side really wants a direct conflict. China has nukes. Russia has nukes. The U.S. has nukes. Britain has nukes. And as I said on another episode, quiet is kept, Israel has nukes. Pakistan, India, they have nukes. Now North Korea has nukes. Iran has nukes. So it's like it's just a shitstorm. So I think I'm just giving the knowledge that I know because I'm a nerd to a degree. I be watching this shit and it's entertaining to me, but it's entertaining only from the aspect of us not getting blown the fuck up.
Right.
So I don't know, man. That's just what I know I went on a long ass rant. I don't want to talk my guest.
But to touch on that though, man, like I said, or like you said, it's a big mess.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad because when you look at NATO, all the countries that's in NATO, and then you look at every other country that's not in NATO, North Korea, Russia, Iraq, them, all those, countries that really don't care, you know what I'm saying? Like, we'll kill ourselves to kill you, you know what I'm saying? Type,
you can't win against that. Yeah, you can't win against that.
No, not at all, man. But I don't know. I think it's a very, it's a very situation, man, that I think a lot of people need to pay attention to, because, like we, talked about off mic, United States, although we are a very powerful country, we are divided as a people, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And if anybody was paying attention to anything, man, this is more of a time where people, we should be pulling together, man, because it's not a matter of if it's going to happen. It's a matter of when it's going to happen. You know what I mean? And, we shouldn't be, we don't have time to be fighting with each other and then trying to fight other countries. Yeah. You know what I mean? We got all this like racism and stuff going on. And, people want to wait until we in some foreign jungle to want to, you know what I'm saying? To hey man, we got to stick together. I watch your back and you watch mine. But why do we have to wait until we in somebody else's country, to pull together, man? Because you want to make it back, back home, so you can go back to being racist. You know what I mean, or whatever the case may be. But you ain't racist while we over in somebody's jungle or in somebody's desert.
Yeah, I never understood that either.
Yeah, so people really need to understand how serious it is, man, and start pulling resources together. You know what I mean? Because again, it's not a matter of if, but when it does happen, that power grid go out, you get what I'm saying, man. People need to start learning how to work together, pull resources together, man, and pull all that other extra stuff aside, man, because when the shit hit the fan, it's gonna hit.
Man, yeah, and look, I usually tell this to people off mic, but I don't mind saying it on mic. Y'all need to invest in your BOBs.
Oh yeah. Yeah, yeah.
Y'all need to invest in your BOBs because you never know. And if you don't know what that is, you should know what that is. So that's all I'm saying. Like you never know at a moment's notice. You know, have a nice supply of food. Have some type of water filtration. You know, a decent water source. You know, pinpoint places that you might be able to go in case of emergency. And yeah, because I tell people all the time, you know, one of the first things when shit start hitting the fan, one of the first things to go is infrastructure, especially telecommunication infrastructure. Won't be no more phones. Your phone will be useless. Towers and stuff get knocked down. So how are you going to communicate? You need two-way radios like walkie-talkies, maybe sat phones, you know, things like that. People are not in that survival bag. You know what I'm saying? And these are things that I think about like, you know, how am I gonna you know, this is another reason why I never let my gas in my tank in my car go below half, because I always think like, okay, at least if I got a half a tank of gas, how far can I get away? You know, if gas ain't working, you know, gas stations lose electricity, and you know everything's all electric now. It's not like manual. Back in the day, you kind of need the thing to be able to, unless you know how to just siphon gas and shit. But you know, I you know what I'm saying. But I don't know. And we kind of got off topic. This is what happens when you have conversations. We kind of shift gears and be all kind of over the place. But so, okay. We talked about geopolitics and all of that. Now, before I move on to the more interesting part of the show, what do you think? What are your views or your opinion on the state of the dollar?
U.S.
Of course.
Well, I guess this kind of ties back to the Russia and China thing, man. That's a big problem, you know, because you know when our money isn't as powerful no more, you know.
Yeah.
I've heard people talk about this is a time where people need to start investing in gold and stuff like that, because you know that's what money is backed by.
Not our money, but yeah, I know what you're saying.
Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Is
Okay, so we'll use this for more, instead of speaking in a general sense. When I look, you think about, okay, like, you know, me and you used to walk to school all the time in 9th grade. And you think about it, we used to go get what was the thing called? Them Nutty Buddies. You know what I'm saying? And what are the things like a quarter? It's like, and we used to have quarter bags of chips. And now you see them same chips in that same bag. And them fuckers is like 60 cents, almost 70, almost $1. In some stores, it is $1.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
In our mind, you know what I'm saying? These was always a quarter. And it's like, it's either two things. Either you companies are just greedy as hell, or the dollar ain't going as far as it used to. Now, they can talk about inflation. This inflation thing is real sexy. Right now, it's real sexy about inflation. But what y'all don't understand is inflation has been taking place for years. Prior to all of this, it was not in the news. It was not being reported on. It was slowly going up. Because if you're paying attention, if you're an adult, everything has been slowly rising. And now the reason it's in the news like that is because now it's getting to the point where people can't afford shit for real.
Yeah.
Like,
well, people need to realize that the power is in the hand of the buyer.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And what I mean by that is, if people came together as a collective and decided to stop buying a certain brand or whatever, then what happened to these companies? They no longer make money.
Exactly.
You said what?
I said, now you speaking my language. I've been trying to get people to come together for the collective for a long time, but
yeah. So you know, when you talk about the quarter bag of chips, for example, not only did we go from chips being a quarter and was
Yeah.
full, they
Yeah.
almost $1 and they full of air. And the reason why they these companies they get away with it is
Mm-hmm.
because they know people not gonna stop buying.
Man, my God.
So that's what I mean by if people really thought about it, power is in the hand of the buyer. If people stop buying, stop spending their money, these companies wouldn't be in control. And that's with anything.
Yeah. you ain't lying, brother. I've been trying to tell people that forever. Like I've been trying to say that stuff like at my place of employment. I just be like, you do realize we could get more money if you guys just, I don't want to say the S word, but if we just, if we just had some collective thinking,
Right.
we could make this work. All we do is we just need people to buy in. If everybody bought in, even if it wasn't everybody, if it was enough people to buy in to where they could not run production for that day,
Mm-hmm.
that's it. That's it. If it takes 5-6 of us, that's it. Shop can't run without 5-6 people. And what you gonna do? You gonna try to hire scabs? You can't get nobody to work in that bitch now. I ain't gonna go off on that. That sounds a little personal. Ooh, you sound hurt. Hurt.
No, hey, but you know what? It's the truth though, man.
Yeah.
If you got a company, if you got a company full of 100 people at a company and y'all
Mm-hmm.
ain't being treated right, a good 60, 70, 80 of y'all walk up out that mug.
There you go.
You make a statement.
There you go.
These companies, y'all make way too much money. For example, the like Chrysler and those companies, man, were back in the day, they were starting people off
Yeah.
18, 19 an hour. Now they
Mm-hmm.
starting people off, $14, $15 an hour, man. And, going talking about inflation and stuff like that. Can't nobody make a living off that. You know
No.
what I'm saying? But again, if everybody walk out that motherfucker, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey,
Exactly.
they're gonna lose a lot of money. You're gonna lose way more money
Yes.
not having workers than giving everybody a good raise.
People are just docile now, man. They just docile. I mean, we've been mentally conditioned to become followers. I mean, it's in the name. You go on social media, what are you? Oh, get your followers up. People are just
Right.
followers. I mean, it's in the name. And I say this all the time, and people just be looking at me like I'm nuts. And it's like, no, just. But anyway, man, okay. So, my opinion, state of the dollar. The dollar is now. This is not from an economical perspective of, oh well, in the stock market and the global market. I'm not talking about that. Okay, I'm talking about my real life. Every day, I have to spend money.
Yeah.
Dollar ain't getting me shit like it used to. And here's the thing: I always tell people, I wouldn't have to be worrying about asking for a fucking raise if shit just didn't fucking cost so much. I could probably fucking survive off of what I already make if you fuckers just didn't charge so much. And it's just like, it just boggles the mind. It's greed. I just did an episode, my last episode that I dropped on my channel. I did an episode talking about greed, and whatever. It's fucking greed.
Yeah,
It's fucking
man.
greed.
You got to think like, so for example, cars, for example,
Mm-hmm.
these mugs, they sit around the table and figure, hey, man, what can we do
Mm-hmm.
to save money but still charge the same or charge more, right? So what do they do? For example, I just saw a video not too long ago about they had light bulbs that used to last for 100 years.
I know exactly what you're talking about. Yep.
Yeah, so well, I can't make no money if somebody buy a light bulb and it lasts 100 years. So what do? You make a light bulb that only lasts for
Yeah.
3 years, for what they say maybe 1,500 hours.
Yeah.
and it goes out, and then you have to go buy another bulb. Same thing with cars. They started swapping out, metal and started putting in plastic parts. So
Fiberglass, all that shit.
yeah, man. So after a certain amount of miles, stuff started to break, and you got to spend money, to keep your car going and stuff like that. Man, is you see it in everything with material. The materials get cheaper.
Yep.
Nothing lasts long, and
Yeah.
it's to get you to for another example, if you look at a bar of soap, a
Hmm.
bar of soap used to be a full block, right?
Yeah.
So what do they do? They
Curve that
started
mug.
shaving it and curving it to make it look sleek.
Yeah.
And you like, man, that's a pretty looking bar of soap, but you're not realizing they charging you the same price,
And
and
they
they took
just
a few ounces off of that same bar of soap. So now that bar of soap that you used to be able to get, a few days out of, you only get like a day and a half, and then next thing you know, you got to go back and buy more.
Yep. With that, the term, there's a term to describe what you're talking about, and I actually heard this from a podcast I was listening to, and they they did a basically a story on what actually took place, and part of that where I heard that thing about the light bulb story was coming from that, and the term was planned obsolescence. Planned obsolescence. And
Yeah,
what that is the fact that we're losing money or we're not making enough money. How can we make more money but not make shit last? Because that's all what capitalism is. Like, we need you to buy in. It's just consumerism. It that's the only way it survives, is off pure consumerism. So I can't, like you say, I can't make something that's gonna last forever. I'm gonna go bankrupt. So what's the balance? You have to make a product to where you can sell it and have it still go bad. But the trick is to trick the consumer into believing I'm getting a good deal. I'm paying a fair price on something that's not going to last.
right.
And then it's basically like with these fucking iPhones. How much do you think it takes to everybody who participates in capitalism is getting ripped off. You don't pay wholesale price. You don't pay the price of I'm sorry, am I saying that wrong? Wholesale price. You don't pay the price of what it took for them to manufacture it, because they won't make a profit. So if it take them 25 cents to make a can of Coke, and then they turn around and sell it to you for $1.50, I'm talking about a small ass can. So how much profit is that for them? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what it is. We overpay for everything in this country. That's what capitalism is, and that's why I say I talk a lot of shit about capitalism. It's like, because people have this thing in their mind, and I said this on my last episode that I did. People have this thing in their mind where they think they're a capitalist. You're not a fucking capitalist. Me and you, we're not capitalists. We're consumers. So a capitalist is a motherfucker who runs the shit. We work for capitalists. When you get up and go to work every day, you working for capitalists. That's what it is.
Yeah.
They're capitalizing off of the economy. We're getting the crumbs. We're getting what's left. Oh, okay. Well, here, you can have this. You should be able to suffice off of this. No, I can't actually.
You know what's crazy about that too? I don't know if you noticed that a while ago, a long time ago,
Mm-hmm.
I think at one point there was no taxes. And then when they brought taxes in,
Yeah.
I think the taxes was only like 15 cents
Yeah.
off the dollar. Now taxes is damn near almost 100%.
Yeah. I know there was.
You know what I mean?
In the United States history, there was taxes from the king that they didn't want to pay, and then once they won the Revolutionary War, or whatever, and then the government was like, we got to tax you, and the people was like, if they was trying to fight it, and they was like, no, you got to pay these taxes. These are our taxes. Like, you gonna pay these. Like, ain't no starting no war on this. Like, we wasn't about to pay taxes for some fucking king in a foreign land. No. You gonna pay these taxes from this land. So I know what you're saying with that.
Well, yeah, because I mean, to go back to the topic of the power of the dollar, man, it's like
Mm-hmm.
when you think about it, it's crazy. Think about this.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta pay you to work. You get what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
tax me to go to work.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you taking taxes out of my money,
Uh-huh.
and then when tax time comes, you taxing money that was already taxed.
Uh-huh.
Then you got inflation going on. You
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying? And then you like you said, survive off this.
Yeah. No, seriously.
It's a hard thing, man. And then they look up and wonder why somebody didn't order. You ordered a mask off of Amazon, man, and you know what I'm saying, man? Because
Oh
you
shit.
trying to make ends meet. You
I,
know,
I I laugh, but it's true though.
yeah, yeah. You know what I mean? And not to mention, you know, um, Andre 3000 said this in one of his raps, man. You'll be surprised the things that a man will attempt when he got other mouths to feed beside his own. And
Yeah.
when you think about that, man, it can get real serious out here, man. Every corner you turn around and look, you being robbed for the money that you working.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
Yeah.
what a man supposed to do when his baby crying? When he need milk.
Man, I've had conversations with people off mic. Things I say off mic that I can never say on mic because I don't need no alphabet people come to my. All right, we need to talk to you. No, I can't do it, man.
Right.
All right,
But
man.
yeah, man,
Huh?
but the thoughts, man. We had conversations about that, man. Like you'd be surprised the thoughts that go through some people's heads.
I already know.
You everything you think about, you can't say out loud.
Exactly. That's the whole thing. And luckily we live in a time where they can't they can't restrict our thoughts yet. So
Right, yeah.
all right, man. We gonna move on. We're gonna move on. Now this is the this is the entertainment part of the show. So, we were talking off mic and who I think either I did it or you did it. Somebody brought up Charleston White. So all right, we just gonna and this is just a random clip. This is not something recent. Maybe I don't know if it's recent or not. It's just something we're doing in the middle of the show. We're just gonna react to what we see. You know what I'm saying? This is no different. So I'm gonna share the screen right quick, and then we're gonna go from there. Here we go.
So goddamn bad. All you got to do is say, I'm calling the police, and watch what a nigga do. Say,
That's so
listen,
true.
listen, my woman heard me tell some women at one time. We first got together. We newlyweds. She did me like that one time. I ain't going no motherfucking world. 911. I got up, got to moving. You hear me? Say, I got up, got to moving. Say, wait, what? Say, you on the roof? Oh, man, what the fuck? Got up and got to moving.
So what you think of that, man? What's your feelings on calling the police?
Hey, look, man. You know what? It's hard to answer that question without going into
I know.
you
That's the point.
the whole thing with the police, man, because that's a whole different topic, man. But I don't know, man. What can How is a person supposed to feel
Mm-hmm.
about calling the people that's supposed to protect you,
Yeah.
but they doing the opposite?
So I'll give a little insight on this. Me and my wife have had plenty of conversations. I've been with my wife almost it'll be 17 years this year that we've been together, and not one time has the police been called. As many arguments as we like any other couple, we had our ups and downs and good times, bad times, trials and tribulations, all of that, right? No police. I'm the type of man that I'm never going to intimidate my woman. I'm never going to get tough and get all up in her face and like, shut the fuck up. No, I don't do that. Even when we arguing, even when she says things that deliberately are going to hurt me, the type of man I am, I don't believe in hitting women. And so I leave, I just leave. When things get bad, I dip, I leave. I'm like, nah, I'm out of here. And the reason for that is because, at the end of the day, I'm still a man and I have limits and I don't ever want those limits to be tested, because I'm not even sure how I'm going to react when I'm at my limit. So I don't even want to let it get anywhere close to that. Now, that being said, I don't believe in hitting women as long as they don't pick up a weapon. As long as you don't pick nothing up, you ain't got shit to worry about. Now, the second you pick something up, I don't give a fuck I don't care if it's a pen. You can stab me with this pen. You can do damage with a pen. Especially when you angry and if you enough thrust, enough force, hey, you can do damage. Don't pick up something as small as a pen. Don't pick up no weapon. If you just got these, I ain't worried about that. You can't kill me with your bare hands. Unless you just deliberately just grab my nuts and start yanking them off my body. That'll kill a man.
Right.
That will kill a man. But ain't no grown man just gonna let you get to that point.
Yeah.
So
go ahead.
No, I was just saying in terms of, the police. That's
about like relationship wise in a relationship.
Right, relationship wise, because that's the example Charleston White used. So I'm saying like you say, you can call the police for many different situations, but I'm sticking to what he was talking about as far as in relationship. Well, my wife know that's a deal breaker with me. You can't call the police on me. That's a sense of betrayal. Whatever issues me and you have, we can get through this shit, me and you. I'm not going to threaten you. I'm not going to put your life in any danger. There's no need for you to ever call them. So in the event that you did, because if you were too emotional that day or whatever, that's an act of betrayal. And you can't come back from that. To me, that's the equivalent of being cheated on.
Right.
So
I think calling a policeman, is it's a serious thing, like you said. Yeah. I think calling the policeman on your spouse is, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I think that's the equivalent of you being, somebody being mad and you want to start throwing the word divorce around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
For you to throw the word divorce around, that means you thought about it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. That ain't something, I don't think that's something you play around with. Yeah. Again, not to go off topic, especially because of the things that been going on with police.
Yeah.
And, being black, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If it's not that serious, you calling the police, just to be calling the police, man, yeah. I think that's kind of, that's a little bit too far.
Yeah. Now, if your life is in danger and he's over there kicking your ass, and by all means, you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, most definitely. But yeah, just because you doing it because you can type thing, or just because you get into a little dispute, you want to, I'm calling my brothers and and all that extra stuff, but also at that point, at some point you gotta take the blame yourself. You know what I mean? Because you know the type of person you with.
Yeah.
Right. If again, you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. So if
I ain't heard that.
See the type of person that can't keep her legs closed, and you find out she's cheating on you, how can you get mad for her doing so? So you knew before y'all relationship really got that serious, if she was the type of person to call the police and you still pursued that, you put yourself in that situation.
Yeah, you got a good point on that, brother. I can't disagree. You kind of it's about personal responsibility, taking accountability for you know, if you, like you say, you know what you're getting into when you get with a person.
Yeah.
Especially if you with them long enough, and yeah, I see things, you know, people, it's the internet, you know, stuff on the internet, and it's just people, you know, just calling the police, and it's just like, you know, the police got better shit to do. But again, you never know with these domestic disputes, because you do have bitch ass men who want to, you know, put their hands on women for, you know, whatever reason or whatever. Now, if you have a history of abuse, and what I mean by that, because women can be very abusive. Now, this mouth, that's their strongest weapon. Their mouth is their strongest fucking weapon. You're not gonna win with that. But if they have a habit of just like doing little things like hit you in the head here or punch you here or do this there, and it's like she's emasculating you, you know, making you, as a man, you thinking, what the hell are you doing? You know, don't do that, because you wouldn't like it if I did it.
Right.
But again, it's that limit that I talked about. If a man reaches his limit because he's tired of getting hit after he's warned you a million fucking times, I can't blame that man for going off and laying you the fuck out. Now, there's a thing about don't go overboard. If you knock her the fuck out, you knock her the fuck out. She's been hitting you all these years. But again, it goes back to that thing you mentioned too about personal accountability and responsibility. Why would you stay with a person who's constantly doing that?
Right.
So I just think calling the police on your spouse is a deal breaker for me, because if you're willing to get the law involved, that means they can either kill me or take me to jail. Either way, what you're saying is, I don't want you here anymore.
Right.
So, nah, that's a deal breaker for me. Nah, once you do that, it's over. You pretty much signed. you didn't pretty much sign what you didn't sign. Like, nah, it's over. Like,
Right.
Even if nothing happens, it's over.
Right, and that's why I compared it to throwing the word divorce around. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That, you know, it's a very serious thing. You know, you don't call the police just to be calling.
Yeah.
Because like you said, a lot can come along with that. You can either, you know, you can lose your life.
Yeah.
You get locked up, lose your job. You know, now you got a record. You know, it's a lot of stuff that can come along with that. You know, so yeah, you know, but to each his own, man. Some people, you know, it floats their boat, but again, like I said, you know, personal accountability.
Yeah.
You knew this person was abusive in the beginning of your relationship. You chose to stay around. That's your fault.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah.
You know.
All right. You know, that was a good one. I think I have I do. I have another one from Mr. Charleston himself. I don't think that was the same one. Let me see. I gotta make sure. Okay, yeah. All right, there we go. You know, doing this in real time, you know, I said, okay, I gotta, you know, get this all together. So let me share the screen right quick. And we go.
To your face and tell you your dead homie in your face, you gonna tell me, oh, those are nothing but words.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell
Nah,
you.
hell no, those are fighting words. Those are shooting
listen,
words.
I'm gonna tell you a goddamn lie. What I'm gonna fight you for, and I got to go home to my kids? I'm gonna fight you for, nigga, and I make damn near $10,000 a week, and that can stop. What I'm gonna fight you? My homies is dead. Your words don't hurt me. Fuck your mama, nigga. Fuck her. You don't know now, nigga. Matter of fact, I ain't even got no dead homies, nigga. I'm 45 years old. I ain't got no dead homies. How that's gonna hurt me? I'm a grown goddamn man. Don't no words affect me, boy. Words affect your mama, son. Words don't affect no man. Words affect boys and women, nigga. I'm a goddamn man who a woman listen to when I talk.
Hey,
Thoughts?
listen. You know, I listen. You know, at some point in your life, you have to surpass certain. You know what I'm saying? especially these days.
I know where you're going, but I want you to, go ahead.
You know what I'm saying? So, I understand and I agree with what he's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can let a nigga run his mouth all day.
Right.
Just don't put your hands on. Don't enter my personal space. If you get close enough to where I can touch you, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna go there. But as far as the word thing, man, yeah. And then also, not even just with the words, most words only affect people if you feel like what they saying is true.
Right. Okay.
At the end of the day, you know who you are as a person. You know what you're capable of, or you know what you've been through. So for you to allow somebody to say a couple words to you, man, and to get you off your element to the point where you willing to go to jail for the rest of your life.
Say you're putting your freedom on the line every time.
Right, you putting your freedom on the line because you don't like the way a nigga talk.
Right.
That makes no sense. You know what I'm saying?
So let me
say what you want to say, but say it from over there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I see it all the time, man. At one point before, that comes with maturity too. We all been there, man, growing up, especially young men, you coming into adulthood, you get into this stage where you feel like you have to prove yourself, whether it's to yourself or to your peers, whatever. But, grown men, grown men, not because, you grown because you're 25. I'm talking about maturity level. At some point when you surpass the level of childishness, you understand that a lot of things ain't really, you know what I mean, ain't worth a lot of your time because, especially with these cowards these days, people are so, don't nobody want to get punched in the face.
Oh,
People so quick to go to the meat house, bro. It's unbelievable. You can't even argue with nobody, without getting shot. So you have to, at some point, you have to be aware. Like, man, do I really want to put myself in a position to where either I'm gonna go to jail for killing somebody because of what I said, or you end up getting killed? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's why I say is, as long as nobody put their hands on you, man, let a nigga talk the way you want to talk. Like I said, just say it from over there.
So look at Brother Fado out here dropping these gems for y'all. So look, let me ask.
Look, if you would have asked me this question,
all right, look. I know you. You ain't got to tell me.
No, but I was 21, 22.
So let me ask, because I think this is a question that doesn't get asked. I don't hear it come up a lot, and so now what's the borderline? Because I know we talked off mic about what's the borderline besides okay, we all know what's been established as a certain man laws we don't talk about as not to put your hands on another man because you know what come with that. So at what point does it become disrespect? Like you say, talk your shit, say it over there. Okay. But what point when it starts getting disrespectful? Now what do? Like, okay, he not touching you, but he's saying some disrespectful shit. And it's like, and I mean like really disrespectful. Like, how do you handle that? Same way?
Well, me personally, again, I don't mind getting punched in the face. I don't mind punching you in the face.
Yeah.
So I don't argue with no man.
Right.
Most people, they argue and they get loud is because they really don't want confrontation. They want somebody to step in. Yeah. And me personally, I don't argue with no grown man. I tell you this.
You sound like me.
We either gonna dance or we not. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
All this, you know, you trying to poke your chest out and you trying to sound tough. Look, if we ain't gonna dance, go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
I
and
agree.
plain and simple. You know what I mean? There's no need to go back and forth. You know what I mean? That's just me personally. I don't argue with nobody.
Yeah.
I don't even know how to argue, bro. I'm not even. I don't know how to argue.
That's what I'm saying. I ain't good at it either. It's like, nah, man. It's like, okay, either we gonna tango or you gonna drop this shit, but ain't gonna be no. Oh, you know, we just. I'm with you,
no,
man.
we ain't finna do, man. I've been at jobs, bro, where I'll be like, look, we can go out back right now. We don't need no audience. We can go out back. One of us gonna walk back in here, and one of us ain't.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
you know,
I agree.
Again, you know, I know. Yeah, some people got limits, like you said, man. People got limits and stuff like that. Me personally, even going back to as long as you don't touch me.
Mm-hmm.
In my older age,
yeah,
I've learned to tolerate a lot of stuff.
Wow.
Even to the point where, even if you bump me,
mm-hmm.
I've learned how to kind of brush things off. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My thing is as long as you don't put nobody I'm with in danger. That's when,
yeah,
you know, I kind of lose it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But, you know, but like I said, you know, you got to let people talk. And like I said, you know, hey, we either going to do this or we ain't.
Yeah, because that's the thing. I'm torn between both. You know, my whole thing is and I agree with you 100% because that's my stance pretty much how I carry myself out here in the world. But then, you know, I'm of that second mindset. It's like, you know, I've done the growing. I've gotten the maturity and you know, I've got it under control where a lot of the stuff you said are things that I do in real life. But then it's just like, there's that other side of my brain that be like, you know, but you got to pay at some point for that shit you talking. You know what I'm saying? It's like, the left side of my brain is saying, hey, man, let's be peaceful. I don't want no smoke. And then the right side of my brain talking to me like, yeah, you might not want no smoke, but you're going to have to pay for what you said, man. At some point, you're going to have to catch something. You're going to have to catch these bones or that metal. You're going to have to catch something, bro. So that's why I say I'll be torn between the two because I'll be like, and I try to let the left side win out most times in terms of the peaceful side. Just like, you know what, let's just, you know, but again, like you say, all best is off. If I'm out with my family, no, we ain't doing all that. Like, all that peace shit is probably out the window because, I mean, I've had these conversations with my oldest son and I've explained to him, like, okay, he, you know, like I told you off mic, I mean, he's taller than me now and he's about to be 15. He's taller than me. He's more muscular than I am. Like, you know, he's not stronger than me yet, but shit, he ain't that far away. I ain't gonna front. He fucking lifting weights and doing push-ups and he works out every day. So I'm like, well, yeah. And I talk with my son and be like, hey man, look, I'm still your father. You know what I'm saying? I still give you these hands, boy. I ain't worried about it. I said, there's one thing I got over you.
You gotta let them know that
that's what I say.
Strength.
I got grown man strength, and I said I got experience over you. I done been in way more dog fights than you have. You know what I'm saying? I said what I might not have in terms of stamina. And you know, because we getting older, our muscle,
that youth gone.
yeah, the youth is gone. So even if we, you know, even though we do have grown man strength, we have to be fast with it. We have to be strategic. You can't just be like back in the day, you just throwing hands. You miss more than you hit. Nah, when you get older, all them bitches got to connect because if you miss, you might fuck around and knock your shoulder out of play. Like, oh shit. So everything got to connect. You got to be precise as you get older. But getting back to what I was saying, I tell my son all the time, like, man, if we out somewhere as a family, you know what I'm saying, and something's happening, you know, and if it's to the point where, you know, there's danger, obviously you and, you know, your siblings and your mom, your job as the oldest, your job is to get your mom and your siblings to the car. Your job is to get them to safety. I'll hang back. Because I'll be there to make sure that you guys get away. If I'm able to get away with you, great. But my main priority as a man is to make sure that y'all get to safety, even if I don't make it out the situation. And that's what women don't seem to understand. As men, we are forced. We are forced into that, even if we don't want to be like that. When you have a family and you become a protector, you're forced into that. That's thrusted upon you. It's I won't say it's a badge of honor. It's forced duty. You have to do that.
Yeah.
You just have to do it. And that's why I'm like, whether I want to do it or not, even if I know it might be the end of my life in that moment, I got to at least do what I can to make sure y'all get away. And that's the whole point. Because if I fall and then y'all fall, well, I've just died in vain. You know what I'm saying? It's like, no, the whole point was for you to get away. So,
yeah.
And, I go through different training scenarios with my son. We have talks, we have, different strategies we talk about. And, I'll share a personal story. I was teaching my kids about the 911 thing. You know what I'm saying? About, what's your address? We call 911. You have to be calm. You have to, obviously it's an emergency situation, but you have to communicate to them on the phone what the issue is so they can get here and they can fix it. Well, I had an issue last year where I thought I was having a stroke. And, I ended up falling on the floor and, you know what I'm saying? My son, he jumped into action and called 911. And, he was shaking. He was scared because he didn't know what the hell was going on. Shit, I didn't either. I had an idea, but I'm like, oh God, I'm like, not like this. You know what I'm saying? Because my whole thing is like, damn, I'm in front of my kids. But my youngest son, he took my daughter, took her in the room. He knew something was wrong. She's young. Took her in the room. My oldest son stayed out there with me, trying to keep me conscious and doing everything that the people on the phone were, hey, make sure your dad doesn't close his eyes. Make sure he, you know what I'm saying? And they remembered what I told them to do. And one of them went outside to direct the EMTs where to come. This is what I taught them in the event of emergency, because where I live, I mean, where I live, but I'm not going to say that on air, I'm not going to say, all of that, but so they know where to come, you know what I'm saying? And it played out just the way I taught them. And I couldn't have been more proud of my sons that day, because I didn't know what was happening. You know what I'm saying? None of us knew. I just knew something wasn't right in my body, you know what I'm saying? And, parts of my body was going numb, and I'm like, oh shit. And my whole thing is I just don't want to die in front of my kids. And my wife was at work. You know what I'm saying? I'm just like, oh my God. So not like this. But, my wife was called. She left work. I ended up going to emergency and they ran the test and all of that. And, it wasn't necessarily a stroke. They said it was like pre-stroke symptoms. So basically, get your blood pressure and all that stuff under control and all that. So, I've been trying to take care of my health, you know what I'm saying? But that day, it just told me, your kids are listening to you. You know what I'm saying? They are. Even when it seemed like they ignoring you, they listening. And because in that moment, he showed me that he's brave. Like he could have chickened out, he could have cowered out, but he's brave. And I say all that to tie it back into responsibility being thrusted upon us men. We get thrown into shit that we may not want to be in it, but we have to do it, whether we want to or not. And, it's not the same for women. Granted, I'm not going to sit up there and say women don't have it hard. They do. But they don't have it harder than us. You know what I'm saying? They are protective of their children by nature. Granted, because they carry the kids for 9 months. They give birth to these kids. It's a nurturing thing. So nurturing wise, you're naturally going to be protective. But as men, we have to protect all of you. You know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah.
We don't have anybody to fall back on. It's just us. You know what I'm saying? What look like if somebody break into your house, you looking at your wife 3 a.m. Okay, go get him. She gonna divorce you in a minute. You ain't no fucking man. You know what I'm saying? What you mean? Go get
See, hey, look. And so now we getting ready to get into this equal rights, equal fights type thing, right? You know what I'm saying? So look,
Yeah.
you want to be equal. Somebody claiming, hey, you got it right. Go ahead.
Yeah, I see what you.
Go ahead and handle your business, girl. You got this, right?
Oh man.
What you just talking about? You don't need a man yesterday. Go ahead.
Hey.
But to add on to what you were saying though, that should have also been. I mean, I'm pretty sure it was, but it should have been a proud father moment for you too, because that goes to show that you did something right as a father. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Our job is to also to teach, and this is another topic for another day. But when you look at a lot of these, I'm gonna say boys.
Okay.
A lot of these boys are boys because they were never taught how to be men.
Yeah.
I personally know men who can't even wield a hammer. You know what I mean? I'm not even joking. I know, my father, my father didn't force us to do anything, but my father, one thing that was necessary was you gonna learn how to defend yourself.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, you know what I mean? That's something you had to do.
Yeah.
But my pops, he taught us, how to change brakes, change the oil, stuff like that boys are supposed to learn. And one day when you become a man, you pass what you are taught to your, to your boys. But that's the problem.
Yeah.
A lot of these men, or like I said, boys, they not even men themselves. And you out here having boys that's just running around, you know what I'm saying? And it's kids out here having kids.
Yeah, you never lied. I've been hearing that since we was kids.
Right. So, so the fact that, you not only a protector, man, you also, you took the time to teach them.
Yeah.
This is what you do in this scenario. Yeah. I do the same thing with my kids, man. I do with my oldest daughter. And she on her own, without me even saying nothing, she'll be like, I think this car following us.
Ooh,
and I'll be like, well, why you say that?
Like,
because the past 3 blocks, it turned every, you know what I mean?
She's aware.
And she's only 10.
Yeah, I like that. Actually, love that.
So I do the same thing with her. When we go into a restaurant, where the eggs is at? You know what I mean?
Like we talked about.
Yeah, I man, because at the end of the day, like you said, I need my main goal, or our main goal, is to protect our family, get our families to safety.
Yep.
Or if I have to sacrifice myself, if something pop off, you can't be trying to run, necessarily to the way we came in. You might not be able to make it there.
Exactly. Shit, they might be standing at the front door when we came in.
Right. So, again, a lot of us, man, we have a lot of responsibility, man, as protectors, providers, and again, to talk, to go into what we talked about off camera, man, a lot of that falls on us, man. And, it's stressful, and our mental health, man, is at stake. It's a lot of pressure on us. And sadly, if certain criterias ain't met, our marriage is at risk.
Yeah.
Our relationships are at risk. You know what I mean? But, I don't know, man.
No, man. This is therapeutic as hell. That's the whole point, man. That's why I was so happy. you want to be on the show. I've been trying to get this brother on the show for 1,000,000 years. No, I'm bullshitting. But
No, I know, man. I said, I'm gonna do better, man. I need to do better,
you good,
man.
brother. You good, man. But no, I'm saying but these are conversations me and this brother have all the time. Okay, and this is the first time one of these conversations is actually being recorded, because I was thinking for a long time. I said, man, this is good conversation. You know what I'm saying? This is stuff that men need to be hearing, and not that same shit that you hear on on the internet all the time, because it just seems like people hear one thing and then regurgitate it, and then it's just everybody's repeating the same shit. It's just the same thing, and it's just like, okay, bring something else to the table. Okay, we had enough turkey. Okay, what else you got? Shit, you got some dressing over there. You got some, what I'm saying, some mac and cheese. Somebody got some cobbler. Where the cobbler at? You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on, give me something else. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I try to do with the shows that I do, and so. But at the same time, like I said, we try to have fun in the meantime, So we gonna move on, because I value your time, and I don't we can sit up here and kick it for 1,000,000 hours. So what's the next clip? Oh yeah, this one with Ari Spears. Ari Spears explains the things that he hates that black people do. So I said, okay, yeah, this is gonna be a good clip. Let me see what the hell he's talking about, because I didn't really watch it. I just saw it. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna share it, see what it's about. All right.
Things that irk the shit out of me, and this is where, here we go. I wish two things my people would stop doing, both black men and black women. And I know this is where Monique spoke to this, and this is where I'm gonna ruffle some feathers. I wish black women would stop wearing bonnets and hair wraps in public and in airports. I wish black men would pull their fucking pants up. I get so embarrassed when I see niggas in public with their whole ass out. And I know black people who say, well, why you care what white people think? What a fucking dumb thing to say. It's not about being validated by white folks. You're a grown man. Why do you have your ass in the air? I'm getting to a point where I'm 47, where, like my mother, I think when you get in a certain point in age where you feel like you just want to say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But I know I wouldn't do this, because you're going to get in a fight.
What's your response there, brother Fate?
So I agree. And again, it's not really being validated by other people, but what people need to understand, the reason why a lot of stereotypes, or the reason why we're viewed as like we do, is because of appearance.
Yep.
Now, you should have enough respect for yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. Now, this is outside of, like you said, it's outside of being validated, but you should have, when you leave your house, right? Now, I'm gonna tell you a personal story. Now, okay. I just don't walk up, out the house looking like anything. You know what I mean? Now, I had I was inside of a shopping place, and there was a guy who worked for a Fortune 5. What you say? What is it? A Fortune 500 company or something like that? Some big fancy company, whatever. Yeah. Now, his job was to recruit people. He walked around the whole store, and he said I was the only person he stopped was because of how I was dressed. Now, I wasn't dressed like in a 3-piece suit or nothing like that. Yeah. But again, I wasn't walking around with my ass out, sagging my jeans, you know what I'm saying? Backwards hat, yo, and all that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, I say that to say this. you'll be surprised of how many opportunities a person would miss just because of how you look. Now, you might not be ghetto, right? You might not, or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you could be looking for a job. You can be like, man, I wish I had a better job or whatever, but you don't know who's watching.
Right.
Now, just because, you walking around with your pants hanging off, whatever, that's enough to stop somebody from approaching you, because just by how you look, they'll assume, that you don't have no home training or whatever. But, as far as like the bonnets and stuff, man, I know it's a part of, our culture and stuff like that. Denzel Washington has said that, what did he say? He said, of course, he was talking about directors. He said that, what did he say? He said, Martin Scorsese could have did the Schindler's List, which was a movie about Jews.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who the guy who made Schindler's List, but he was saying that because he's a good director, he probably could have made a movie about the Irish mob or whatever.
Yeah.
But as far as our culture goes, none of them couldn't, you could have made a movie about black people, but you never grew up in a household where Sunday morning you smelled the hot comb on the stove, and I say that to say this, it's a part of our culture where, black women, they do their hair and you got to wear the bonnets and stuff like that and keep your hair wrapped, because, as black people, your hair sweat, it naps up, right?
Yeah.
But that's for your home.
Mm-hmm.
You walking around Walmart, or you at the movie theater, man, it's just it's a certain respect you should have for yourself to not want to walk out the house looking a certain way.
I can't disagree with that. People will find a way to defend anything. So.
Yeah. I mean.
Yeah. As far as the
own, brother, you know what I mean?
No. That's my point. I don't really have much to say on the bonnet thing because, obviously, I'm not a fan of bonnets at all. Like, I'm not a fan of them in the house, outside. I'm not a fan of them at all. Like,
hey, but again, we're also not women, so
that's the whole point. But again, I'm not giving my opinion saying what they should or should not do. I'm giving my opinion on the subject matter itself. I personally don't like the bonnets. I don't like it when my wife wears hers. But I'm not in the business of take that shit off, if I don't want to get fucking punched or stabbed. So no, I'm not gonna say anything. I mean, I voice my frustration about it. I'm like, sometimes, most times I've gotten to the point now I just ignore it, like whatever. But I also have a woman who doesn't wear it outside of the house. That's the difference.
Right.
So she wears it in the house all day. If she, well, not all day, but I'm saying if she has a day where she don't feel like fucking with her hair, then she'll just put it in that. But as far as the sagging pants thing, I mean, come on, we've been saying that shit since high school. We've been saying that shit since we got out of high school. It's like, pull your fucking pants up, dog. Like, that shit's the dumbest shit in the world. And because I always looked at it from the standpoint of, man, if I got a scrap and my pants falling off my ass, how the fuck, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, I need to use my legs. You know what I'm saying? I need to move around. I'm sitting up here dropping my guard to pull up my pants, and you just got hit in your face 50 times. You know what I'm saying? It's like, come on. And you constantly, how many fights have you seen with cats doing that? Them in the middle doing this, and they got to drop their guard. And by that time, it's like, bro, if you drop your guard, you getting hit immediately. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. So, and plus, I don't like that, we do have some things in our culture that are not, I'm not a fan of. You know what I'm saying? And people will find a way to justify everything. Like, I love my black folk. I'm not, you know what I'm saying? But you have to admit there are things in our culture that ain't, you know what I'm saying? It's just, it ain't a good look for us. And like, it ain't about what nobody else think about. It's like,
All right, that's
Don't
what
you
people
want to
need
present
understand.
yourself a little better? Like you should want to present yourself a little better. And the reason I say that is because look at it this way. Okay, let's take white people out the equation. Because I get the notion of, okay, you don't want to do this in front of them, or because okay, what if you just meeting a woman? What if you meet a woman, and then y'all been dating for a minute, and now she wants you to meet her parents? You walking in with her mother and her father. You walking in there with your parents hanging down like that, especially if she got a father and he in her life and he involved. You walk in and he see that shit. Y'all ain't gonna get along off top. Like, I don't give a fuck what your personality is. Hey, bro, you need to pull your pants up, man. And the minute you say something, the minute he say something to you, your first instinct is like, shut the fuck up, old man. But you want to be respectful because you still trying to smash old girl, so you just you gonna be biting your tongue a little bit. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, even amongst ourselves, we don't want to see that shit amongst ourselves. You know what I'm saying? But then they got rid of the sagging pants shit, and now them bitches is tight as fucking. It's like, damn, you went from one extreme to the next. Like, we can just get clothes that fit. Make them fit.
Hey man, listen, I have a hard time shopping for clothes, bro. I'm like, dog, I'm trying to find clothes, and I'm like, is it any stores for real men left?
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like, dog, like it's a mess, man. Like skinny jeans. I went to go buy some clothes, man, and I'm looking at the labels. I see boot cut jeans and man, some weird names, and I'm like, dog, I need some grown man pants.
Right. But again,
Skinny
they'll say
jeans,
they'll
loose fit, just some weird stuff, man. But again, that that's a story for
I'm saying
topic
this ain't
for another time.
This ain't our era. This ain't our era. They look at us, y'all two old niggas talking about what fashion should be. And you know what I'm saying? This ain't our era. And they look at us like, y'all don't know what the fuck you talking about. Because this is just the style. This is what y'all doing. And that's another thing about what I'm saying. Y'all motherfuckers followers. Ain't no leaders no more. Y'all followers. You follow each other.
No, man.
Follow each other into oblivion. Like, I'm just gonna leave that one alone. And if you got any more thoughts before we move on?
No, but I mean, just to touch on what we were saying, man. Again, at the end of the day, when when you were saying about how your wife wear the bonnet in the house, but she don't, outside, again, people need to realize that also when you leave your home and when you out in the world, you are a representation of your household. If you marry, how you act and how, what you wear is a reflection of your spouse. Again, our culture, you walking around with your ass hanging out and doing certain things, and then you wonder why certain people clutch their purse when they see you, or they automatically think the worst, even if that's not what you into.
Right.
I got this saying, man, that I always say, you can go to jail for what it looked like. So when you look a certain way, you gonna get treated a certain way. Plain and simple.
Whether
that's
that's
just
fair or not, huh?
Yeah, well, again, if I heard a guy say, if what'd he say? He go, if you a friendly lioness or whatever, and you hanging around a bunch of other lioness, but you different, I don't got time to try to figure out if if you gonna bite me. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, especially when you got the you fit the description of.
Yeah, I don't like that shit at all. And that,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hate that shit.
Right. So, but when you talk about the, everybody's a follower,
Yeah.
You got all these mugs. They all got, dreads or whatever. They all look alike. So, you walking around, your pants sagging and blah, 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 blah. Again, you're going to fit the description of because you look like everybody else. Again, you're going to get judged by how you look. So, again, you can go to jail for what it looked like.
And I'm pretty sure there's a deeper discussion there, but like I say, you'll definitely be back on the show again, and we'll definitely touch on some things. Well, I'm gonna move on to let's see, what was the other one? I think it was Andrew Tate. Yeah, Andrew fucking Tate.
I like Andrew Tate,
and I know a lot of women don't particularly care for that guy. And it's just, well, I don't know. We're going to go from here.
In the sense that women don't feel like they need men in the most physical sense. Perhaps
that's
like
right.
not.
Women don't feel like they need men in a physical sense because life is soft. But it's bullshit. And it's bullshit because you still need men by proxy, one. And two, the second life gets difficult, you very quickly learn how much you need men. But women will go, I'm independent, I don't need no man because I have an OnlyFans and men pay my OnlyFans, and if anyone comes up to me, I'll call a male police officer. I don't need men. Shut up, you fucking idiot. Of course you do. Your whole life is based on fucking men. The road you're driving on was paved by a man. The house you're living in was built by a man. The car you're driving was designed by a man. Your whole life depends on men. And the second anything bad were to happen to you, the second you were physically threatened, or times were to get hard, or war were to start, or famine, or riots, the first thing you do is find a big strong man, shit yourself, and throw the feminism out the window. Feminism goes out the fucking window the second that the snow needs shoveling, or there's a fucking broken down car, or the tire needs changing. Then all that crap vanishes. It's garbage.
Hey. It was a mouthful right there. It was plenty said. Thoughts?
Hey, look, man, I love that man. He tell it like it is, man. But again, like he said, all that feminism, or whatever, and the things that I'm about to say, like I say, I don't put women down or anything like that. But like he said, it's all true. You know what I'm saying? Women want their independence so bad, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But like you said, yeah, you making all that money from OnlyFans, but who's the people that's buying it? It ain't women. It might be some, the women that go both ways, but again, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's not the majority. That's not the majority.
Yeah, majority. But then they'll turn around and call a man a pervert. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, damn.
But you driving your Audi, driving it because those perverts is buying your product. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
I think at the end of the day, man, I think we need each other.
Uh-huh.
I think, men is strong as we are mentally and physically.
Yeah.
There are a lot of men who need that woman's soft touch to keep him from there's a lot of men, man, that probably would have went overboard if they had that woman to be like, babe. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But to this whole fantasy of, again, women that don't need men, like he said, when it's 12 feet of snow outside, who's gonna shovel that snow? When your tire catch a flat, who do you call? You call your father, which is a man.
Yeah.
If you don't have a man or anything, or when another man is assaulting you, who do you call? You call your man to handle that. But I don't know, like at the end of the day, man, I think it's all foolishness. Like I said, we need each other, sadly. What they say, you can't live with them, can't live without them.
No, I heard the other phrase growing up. Can't live with them, can't kill them.
I heard that one too.
No, I wouldn't. And listen, I've never I've never went in on that, like that with women, and I understand to a certain degree, some women, they want to have their independence and all, and I get all that. You know what I'm saying? I'm not against that. Some of the feminist issues, they make a lot of sense to me as a man. I'm like, seriously, they do. Like, so I can't completely write them off, but like any good movement, sometimes you might take things too far and might not think things through quite as clear. You know what I'm saying? And the way he broke that down was a pretty good example of that. It's certain. I said this in a conversation last night. Men and women will never be equal, hands down. Men and women will never be equal. There are certain things that a woman can do that a man could never do. Give birth. That's the first thing that comes to mind. Men couldn't give birth. If men had to give birth, the human race would have ended millennia ago. Not happening. Okay? We just ain't built for it. We are biologically not built for it. Mentally not built for it. Okay? It's not like that. The second thing, I'm sorry, and this is my personal opinion, and feel free to disagree, and you can feel free to disagree, and the audience can feel free to disagree. Can't no man make a house feel like a home. Not the way a woman can. Like, it's the woman that makes that house feel like a home. Like, it's if she's a nurturing woman, if she's a woman that actually cares about that kind of stuff, she make that house do what it does. That's my opinion. That's my prerogative. My wife makes this house feel like home. She makes this place feel like what it is. It's not me. I'm the enforcer. I'm the protector. But as far as making it feel like an actual fucking home, that's all her. That's all her. That's not me. I mean, I can't sit up here and take any credit for that. So that's just my prerogative, my perspective.
Well, I mean, basically, you said what I said, man. At the end of the day, we feed off each other. We need each other. I think the problem is people need to understand, as men and women, all it boils down to is we have our positions that we need to play.
Yep.
We have our parts. Just because, like you said, we're not equal because, again, just because it's going to sound weird, just because we're not equal doesn't mean that we're not equal. You get what I'm saying? Like, we're not equal in a sense as I don't expect for you to be able to physically do something.
Yeah.
You can't lift 500 pounds, right?
Of course.
Like something like that. But as far as my significant other, I would treat you as an equal. I'm not going to. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's kind of what I was getting at. When I say we're not equal, that doesn't mean one of us is superior to the other. I'm just saying we're not equal. Yeah, exactly. That's what I meant by that, because you people that take that and maybe even turn that into a soundbite and then take that clip and then just run with it. And it's like, no, listen.
Right. That's what
context
you
is important.
That.
Context is important. So.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. Like, again, like I said, man, there's nothing wrong with knowing your part that you have to play.
Yeah.
Your position, man, and stuff like that. But once you get into the one is above the other, and blah blah blah, that's where all these these problems come in. But as far as like especially in this day and age, man, everybody is capable of doing anything. So equal pay and stuff like that. I'm all for that. But I also saw a clip where I think they was talking about the NBA and a WNBA, I think they was.
Mm-hmm.
And they were saying the reason why, because the WNBA was saying how they want to be paid as much as the men.
Yeah, I know.
And, the NBA generates way more money.
I know.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
than
a
the
business
WNBA.
thing.
So, of course, their pay is going to be more because they bring more in.
Yeah, it's a business thing with revenue and all of that, and I think a lot of them understand it too. It's not as black and white as they it's like it's basically a business job is to make money. They're gonna make money. They're gonna do what they can, and if they got to stiff the little guy, that's what they're gonna do. But in the WNBA case, you're not gonna make as much as the NBA because if you don't get enough crowd size, if you don't generate enough interest in the sport itself, then you would think that, more women would support it because it's like, okay, it's women, but shit, more women be supporting men's basketball. I see that. You know what I'm saying? I see that a lot. But that's neither here nor there. I'm not here. I'm not doing that to pick on anybody in particular. So anyway, all right, we're going to move on to our last topic of the day. And I'm just going to let this clip kind of speak for itself. It's a little bit of a longer clip. But, we're just going to let it do what it does.
What's an opinion you have that might piss some people off?
Trans women are not real women. They are men who has transitioned to appear to look like a woman.
No, she's about to make some dumb fuck points, but yeah, let's go through it. Let's see what she has to say.
They do not have periods. They do not have a uterus. They have an XY chromosome.
Yeah, so let's go through this. First of all, there is literally cisgender women that can't get periods. Also another thing, yeah, there is also 10% of cisgender women that can't get pregnant. So do they not become women? Are they not women anymore because they can't reproduce? Also another thing, chromosomes. Are you sure you really want to make this argument right now? Let's go through it. So right here, we actually have the complexity breakdown of sex determination. It goes from chromosomes to genes to hormones to sex characteristics, secondary sex characteristics. We have this all. So for you to try to determine that if somebody's XX, it means that they're female and XY means that they are male, oh shit, you have a whole list to go through. You would have to go through Klinefelters, you have to go through Turners, and there's also many more in the middle. So to try to arbitrarily decide that somebody's a man or woman based on their chromosomes is not only small-minded, but it's very wrong. And also besides, 150 years ago, we had no fucking clue what chromosomes were. We just arbitrarily decided that recently, and you people try to use that as a biological essentialist gate just to keep out trans people. Let's be real. The definition of man and woman did not include chromosomes 150 years ago.
Those period symptoms they claim to have are their body rejecting the estrogen that they're putting in there because their body is not biologically prepared to deal with that much estrogen. It's essentially an estrogen overdose in a man's body.
So right here I found this article actually that a cisgender woman that had her ovaries removed actually was taking HRT the same as trans women, and she was experiencing the same symptoms. So that means by her logic that this would mean that cisgender woman taking an estrogen is not a real woman, that her body is just merely rejecting the hormones because it is in a man's body. Yeah, here's the thing. I guarantee you if a cisgender woman did not fit the things that she just said makes a real woman, she will still consider them as a real woman. Because the thing is with these people, they're highly ideological. Listen, miss, trans women are as every bit as a woman as you are. I know you probably hate to hear it. I know it probably makes you so insecure that you have to put up these biological essentialist gates that has no nuance past 4th grade biology. But I will highly encourage you to not talk about something that you have no knowledge on. I will highly encourage you to not say anything about the subject because obviously you show how ignorant you are. You are literally speaking out against the institutions that has devoted research into the subject. So yeah, you really have to think about that bit. Think about it before you say something dumb. All right?
Now save that one for last. Now, yeah, I know. Go ahead, man.
Hey, man, look. It's all bullshit to me. Listen, I can't believe as a society we've come to a place where we have to even have this discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Look, if you wasn't listen, look, it's two genders. It ain't 5, it ain't 37, it ain't 92, it ain't 100 and a possible. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
If you was born a man, if you was born a woman, which means you got a vagina, breast. If you was born with a penis and testicles, that's what you are.
Mm-hmm.
I don't, all this nonsense going on, man. Bro, I'm just flabbergasted, man. Like I said, I can't believe that we even having discussions, man, like this. Because my thing is, I don't care what you identify as. Now, again, anybody, you can agree or disagree with me. I don't care.
Mm.
But you can identify as a woman if you want to, and you a man.
Uh-huh.
If I'm at a restaurant and my daughter needs to use the bathroom, bro, you're gonna have to wait till my daughter come out of that bathroom.
Mm.
That's just me.
No, a lot of people feel that way.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, a lot of people need to understand, or they really need to take the time and think about. They need to think about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I'm not gonna go into specifics about what if they chopped it off or whatever. Yeah. I'm just saying, as a grown man, you was born a man. You still might have your male genitalia. How would you feel if this man who identifies as a woman try to go in the bathroom with your little girl when she got to use the bathroom?
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I don't say this because as I hate or I feel some type of way. My thing is whatever you going through or whatever you decide to do, that's your business. Mm-hmm. Keep that between that's you and yourself. The problem comes is they trying to push this on everybody else to agree or to feel the way they feel. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like I said, like the scenario that I just used, I don't think no man will feel comfortable with a man who say they identify as a woman going into the same bathroom with their little girl.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. It's all bull. It's so stupid. A lion gonna wake up one day and be like, yeah, I think I'm a duck today. You know what I'm saying? It's so stupid. It's dumb. And then when you really think about it, now to go back into the feminism thing, or the equality thing. Yeah, it's not fair for a man who is still physically strong or whatever. Now you want to compete in women boxing.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying?
Even women have a problem with that, though.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So the problem is the problem with people is this: when they bring up certain feelings or topics, they only want to bring up whatever they feel from one spectrum. Yeah, and they try to only talk about it from that perspective because they want to remain correct. Yeah, but when you start getting into this conversation, man, you got to look at it from every aspect. Yeah. Again, like I said, with the bathroom scenario, with sports, with anything, it's not fair. It's wrong. Yeah. And then you got, now you got these trends and everything, is everywhere. So, now how do you think a person feel when a little 6-year-old child come to their parent talking about, hey, mom, dad, I think I want to be a girl, or I think I want to be a man. You know what I'm saying? You 6 years old, and I say that to say this. Growing up, how many times were you asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? How many times those answers change?
A lot.
A lot.
Yeah.
So, this bullshit, man, that they, trying to push on other people and trying to convince, other people who, because you having an identity crisis at the end of the day, that's what it is.
Yeah.
If you gay, be gay. You don't have to change your sex or whatever to you get what I'm saying? Like, I mean, I don't know if that's what the reason is, but like I said, man, it ain't no three and impossibles out here, man. You either a man or a woman, and that's just how I feel. That's just the gist of it, bro. I'm just trying to make the segment a little bit longer. I could have just left it as it is bullshit, man.
No,
I think it's dumb.
No, I mean, look, everybody, everybody's entitled to have, what they say on the subject matter at hand. And me personally, I mean, I'm off, I don't mind letting, well, let me put it this way. You live your life whatever way you see fit. But again, however you carry yourself throughout society, whatever version of yourself that you bring to the table, that's the side that everyone gets exposed to. You bringing yourself to meet the world in this form or whatever form or whatnot, man. And I agree, with the children in the bathroom type thing, and and I've heard plenty of counter arguments from from the other side, and like it's only 1% of the nation who's trans and all of this and all of that, and my whole thing is the thing I think about. I just think about in order to reduce violence against these folks, because at the end of the day, they're still people. Whether you agree with their lifestyle or not, they're still human beings. They're still people, and that's how I see them. I just I tell like I don't agree with your lifestyle choices, or maybe not choices. I don't agree with your lifestyle preference. Let's put it that way, because usually choice is like a buzzword for them, and they, the minute you say choice, oh, you think I choose to be this way? A lot of them don't. A lot of them are in their mind thinking or feeling whatever it is that they are. And, I've heard plenty of people say they have mental disorders and whatever and whatnot. And I'm not a psychiatrist, psychotherapist. I'm not in it. I don't know. I don't know. So, but at the end of the day, I have a daughter and I'm the same way. I wouldn't want my daughter going in some bathroom and there's there's a person who is probably, you get what I'm saying? So I'm trying to, obviously I can't come off as boisterous as you are on the subject, but people with I've heard plenty of people, good people, by the way, have the same feelings. Like, no, you just like, no, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think there should be different categories for them. Like there's different categories for men and women. They should have their own category. That's my thing. I think that would be a fair compromise to some degree, because at the end of the day, I've always said this about people. You want to force people to accept you. And I tell people, I'm like, you're going about it the wrong way. I ain't asking to be accepted. I'm just asking you to respect me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I think people should strive for. Strive for respect, not to be accepted. But again, there's shit on my opinion too. Like, fuck you, you ain't shit. Fuck you, you mean nothing. Who are you? You're fucking nobody. Like, who gives a fuck about you? And they'll get that way because, you don't 100% subscribe to my side? No, I don't. Sorry. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not, but again, I'm not going to discriminate against you, but then again, you have to do yourself some favors too, especially in a romantic department. If you are AKA trans, then you need to lay that on the table up front to whoever you're being with, because heterosexual men, and here's the problem with with trans folk, a lot of times they go after heterosexual people, and heterosexual people don't want that.
They don't go for that.
And when you trick a heterosexual person, usually a man, they get upset. When you trick a man, it's like disrespecting him. When you disrespect a man, he's going to get violent. And it's that simple. And I'm not saying it's justified, but what I am saying is you have a role to play in your own survival. You know, I would never justify the killing of someone just because they're different. I could never do that. Like, that wouldn't even rest well on my conscience. But at the same time, it's the equivalent of, you don't just walk outside and walk in the middle of traffic and expect to still live. You have to do your part. When ain't no cars coming, cross the street.
Yeah.
If you out here trying to date, hey, I'm this. Can you rock with it? If you can't, okay, that's good to know. And as a heterosexual person, if they tell you what they are, it's your job and your role to play. You can't be offended, because at least they told you. At least they told you. So you can't get upset. Well, I can't tell you what a motherfucker can get upset about, but it's not in your job description to get upset once they've informed you about who they are.
You know, I'm gonna piggyback off what you're saying right now, because I totally agree with that. Now, my issue is this.
Mm-hmm.
As a heterosexual person,
yeah,
my issue come in if somebody was up front with you and said, "Hey, I'm trans, whatever."
Yeah. And
say, for instance, you wanted to satisfy your curiosity, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
If word got out that that's what you did,
mm-hmm.
and then you turn around and want to get violent because now you're being clowned,
right?
You in the wrong for that.
You in the wrong, hands down.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But like you said, I've always said that too, man. Like, again, your role that you play for your survival, you have to be upfront. Just because you're trans, that don't make you less of a human being.
Right.
Now, I had saw a video out where a guy had beat this man because he was trans, and when he found out, and again, like, should no human being be treated that way? But also, like you said, I understood where that anger came from.
Yeah, you can't do that
because what was that?
No, I'm saying you can't do that. You can't trick someone, and then because it was something you caused. You know what I'm saying? The people they get so caught up in trying to control the reaction. No, you can't control my reaction once you've done something to me.
Yeah.
You can't control how I'm going to react. I'm going to react the way I'm going to react, whether that's good, bad, or otherwise. It doesn't matter. But you did something to me. That's like if you simply just tap me with your 2 fingers and then I come back and clock your ass. Oh, well, that was overkill. No, it wasn't. You didn't have no fucking business touching me.
Right,
you don't get to judge my reaction. Don't fucking put your hands on me. This is what's going to happen if you do that. I don't care if it's just a slight touch with 1 finger. Don't fucking touch me. You can't get mad at a person's reaction. Again, that's why I said in the beginning, that does not make it right.
No, not at all.
It doesn't make it right. But at the same time, if you don't tell this person, and that's another thing I don't like when they refer to us as cis. I'm not cis shit, okay? I'm straight hetero man, okay? I'm not going to let you define me. I'm not going to let you just throw these little words on me. Don't call me cis nothing. I'm a heterosexual. We have terms for this shit, right? Since we're going to go by that, if you're homosexual, trans, bi, non-binary, they come up with shit all the time. Heterosexual, I'll stick with heterosexual. Don't call me cisgender. cis.
You know,
don't do that.
They need to just keep it simple, man. It's look, plain and simple. A person like what they like, right?
Yeah.
I like women.
Right.
Plain
Natural born women.
Right. I don't, you know, I like a double cheeseburger, right? If I like a double cheeseburger and you trying to give me a fish sandwich, you know, don't be mad if I don't want no fish sandwich. I like a double cheeseburger. So it's the same thing, you know, you trying to force me to like something that that I'm not with, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it's no different. Again, you know, they have to understand it's no different from it's just like a woman who is with a man who is no good, or I'll say this, a man that they know that past a sexual relationship, they don't want more, but they decide to get pregnant thinking that it's going to change that person.
I see what you're saying.
So it's just, you know, with the tricking thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If a man like a natural born woman, that's what he likes.
Yeah.
See, the problem comes in is they thinking, oh, well, if I freak this person out, I can get them to change their mind.
That's where they go wrong every time.
You can't make somebody like what they don't like. Yeah. And again, like I said, I don't, you know, like we just said, you know, I don't support, you know, whatever, because at the end of the day, they are human beings. They do have feelings.
Yeah.
But also, too, you know, again, you can't force anybody to accept, like you said, looking for exception.
Yeah.
You know, whatever you decide you want to do or however you do behind the privacy of your closed doors is your business. And, you know, to each his own. Yeah. The problem comes in is when you try to force other people to accept, or, you know, oh, you gotta call me this, or this is who I am. You know, if I say I identify as your Lord and Savior, that's what you get what I'm saying? You gonna look at me like I'm stupid. You ain't my Lord and Savior. You get what I'm saying? So why should, just because you know, again, you want to identify as something, everybody else have to agree and accept, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, I don't know, man. It's a touchy subject. Well,
they'll try to minimize what you said. Oh, you're simple minded, you're simple thinking, and this is where the name calling comes in. You know, instead of them actually debating you, instead of actually trying to explain their point of view, they'll just go straight to name calling. Oh, he's a bigot, he's a homophobe, he's a transphobe. They'll start name calling. That's their go-to. That's what they do. And you know what I'm saying? And I'm like, no, let's just have a genuine 100% honest discussion. I can have this discussion without being any name calling on my end, as long as you're respectful of me. And really what it comes down just for me as a person is just, I just don't agree with your lifestyle. And that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not a big fan of homosexuality, but I have you know, people in my family that are gay.
The problem comes in, man, is when you let the fact that you don't agree with something cause you to create to cause a hate crime or something like that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? I can disagree, huh?
No, I'm saying that's the part that's wrong. Like, just because you disagree with them and their lifestyle, you don't have the right to attack them. You don't have the right to do anything like that.
Do what you want to do. That's your life. Like I said, just, you know, again, just don't force it on me or whatever. I can disagree with anybody. My thing is it becomes wrong once you start attacking that person. You know, so I don't know, man. I think, because we got into this era where a lot of identity crisis is happening, man. I think you know, it's going to be a long road. Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, this is the first time you've been on this show, and it was a heavy one. and that's the whole point. That's why I'm saying I'll be glad when I have you back on the show, and We'll discuss some lighter things, but then we'll be right back into the heavy shit, because that's what we do. That's what we always do, and this is what makes for good for good shows. People want to hear this conversation, whether they agree or whether they don't. It's still good to hear other perspectives and understand that, hey, we're not all going to agree because, for one, we don't all look the same. We don't all act the same. We don't all smell the same. We don't all do the same things. We have different cultures and everything is different. So I've learned to just accept the fact that people are going to be different from me and not look like me, not act like me, not think like me. And that's the most important part of it, not think like me. And I've accepted that. But things that I don't have to accept are things I don't agree with. I don't have to accept it. But I will afford you the respect, because it has to be shown both ways. If I can,
respect.
Yeah, if I respectfully and look, and they're gonna come off hella offended when I say this. They're gonna be hella offended. If my daughter has to go to the bathroom, and I see it's a transgender person, and I would respectfully, hey, can you just wait for my daughter to come out before you go in? Respectfully speaking, they get offended by that. Off top. Because it's like you're questioning who they are as a human being. And this is, in my opinion, this is where they go wrong. If all you are is your sexuality, you're nothing. Who are you as a human being? If all you wear on your sleeve is your sexuality, well, I'm gay, I'm trans, I'm this, I'm that. If that's all you are, if that's all you tout, if that's all you are, and you're nothing else, you've done no growing. You show no signs of maturity. You're simple-minded. Now that's me calling them simple-minded.
Yeah, because the inability to at least understand where the other person is coming from, or to understand why they would have this problem. You know what I mean? Like, again, that's your life, but you still have to just because you want to be accepted, it don't mean you can't understand why a man is saying, hey, can you at least wait till my little girl? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But people can become, when they are so adamant and strong about what they want to be right about.
Yeah.
They don't think. They don't, all they care about is being right, what they feel, and you know what I mean? But like I said, man, it's going to be a long road dealing with, with this type of situation. But at the end of the day, man, regardless of people choices and lifestyle, I will say this. Even though I don't agree with a lot of things, one thing I do disagree with is taking your anger or frustration out physically. Yeah. I mean, or even verbally, because some people can't handle words.
Yeah.
But again, just because you don't support, or you don't like a person's lifestyle, doesn't give you the authority or the right to go attack that person.
Yeah. That's my biggest thing. Like, look, we don't have to agree, but just I think people have to go back to having boundaries, and I think part of the reason we don't have boundaries anymore is because of the internet, because people just feel so comfortable saying these things, and everything that I say on these shows, whether my show or the other show I do, I would say all of this in person. And my thing is, I actually want to have a trans person on the show. You know what I'm saying? I want to have a genuine discussion with them, because I really want to hear their prerogative. They might actually be able to enlighten me on some things. I might still come away disagreeing with their lifestyle, but I've always been the person to where I want to hear the other person's perspective, because obviously I'm not like this. So I want to know why are you this way? That I'm always intrigued by that, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not into the bashing of gays and trans and all that, but at the same time, I do have boundaries and standards that I want for myself, and that I, want for other people who are, heterosexual. We don't all agree. I mean, heterosexuals don't agree on everything, but whatever. We'll come back to this another time. But I'd like to thank you for coming on the show today, man. We went a little long, but hey, it's okay. It's all worth it. So, oh man, This is the part of the show where I ask the guests, okay, is there any way people can reach out to you, keep in contact with you? Are you on any social medias and all of that? But I know you're not on social media like that, so I'm just gonna let it go. You know what I'm saying?
They look. They probably gonna hear a lot of what I said. Look, who wanna reach out to that nigga, dog? You know what I mean? But yeah, no, I'm not on social media, man. Or I'll say I'm not on Facebook. I do a little bit of photography, man. So I do have a photography page on Instagram, but I need to pick my camera back up and really get back into it before I start being like, yo, hit me up if you want to shoot or whatever.
Yeah.
So, maybe when I get back into my craft a little bit more,
that's cool.
Then,
you be back. You be back, man. Cause believe me, I got a bunch of shit that we can talk about. So
hey, but like I said earlier, man, I'm just a person that's trying to stay out of the way. You know what I mean?
There you go. So that's it. We appreciate everybody for tuning in to this show. Please make sure you like and subscribe if you like the content. If you hate me, feel free to let me know in the comments. If you agree, feel free to let me know in the comments, or nothing at all. Anyway, y'all have a good day. Have a good week. Whether you watch this morning, noon, or night, be safe out there.